Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm the Rambling Director and today we are going to be talking about episode 12, Call of the Cutie. Now we're getting into what I promised in an earlier episode we would be seeing, Apple Bloom, Applejack's sister, becoming sort of one of the main characters. And I mentioned that in Thinking Bridal Gossip because we hadn't really seen much of Apple Bloom, but now we start to get her fully coming into her own as the character that we would eventually learn to know and love. And this is a good outing, a good first outing for Apple Bloom as a solo episode. The episode opens with Apple Bloom in school at Pokey Oaks Kindergarten. I'm just kidding. It's not Pokey Oaks Kindergarten, but it may as well be, because you can really tell that Lauren Faust, who was married to Craig McCracken, the guy who created the Powerpuff Girls, you could really tell that she based the Cutie Mark Crusaders on the Powerpuff Girls to some degree, and I think she actually did say something along those lines at one point. And Apple Bloom, of course, right down to the red hair and the big pink bow, it's very Blossom from Powerpuff Girls. But it opens up in the school, and Cheerilee, the teacher, takes her name from a Gen 3 pony, she is teaching the class about cutie marks. Now we finally get some lore about the butt tattoos. Why do these ponies have butt tattoos? What is it? What is the meaning behind it? Why do the elements of harmony? Why are they, become shaped like the cutie mark? Is it just so that they can sell more toys? Probably, but there is a good in series reason why. So basically, a cutie mark is described in this first episode about the subject as being the thing that makes you special. It is basically an imprinting of your special talent. So, we've talked about before, Twilight's special talent is magic. Her symbol is a runic symbol for magic. And we see her cutie mark pop up later on the actual, I don't want to spoil too much, but the thing that gives them the elements of harmony actually has Twilight's cutie mark on it. Now, this is because as we go forward, we'll see that cutie marks are also connected to destiny. In this universe, there is actually some things that, whether they're predetermined to happen or fated, however you want to phrase it, in this first episode, they keep the lore very simple, which is just that it's your special talent. It's what you were meant to do. So already we do have some of that destiny creeping in, but later on we'll find out that there are some things in this universe that are actually like major events fated to happen. And in fact, Princess Celestia, we find out, even gets psychic visions at times, which is intriguing. It's a nice little element to add to her as a leader as well. But I'm getting way off in the weeds of the lore, and literally we're in the first minute of this episode. So Cheerilee describes to them how, eventually it's sort of like pony puberty. You get to a certain age, you realize what you're supposed to do, and bam, cutie mark appears. And that's how you know. So, going forward, we see that there are these two bullies in the class, and I think this is the first episode we meet them, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. Silver Spoon is kind of a yes man to Diamond Tiara, or yes woman, and basically, Diamond Tiara makes fun of and berates Apple Bloom and another character named Twist for not having their cutie marks yet. They are blank flanks, which I love that little name. I think it's so funny. And another little bit of world building is Diamond Tiara just got her cutie mark, which is why she's making fun of the others. And she invites the whole class to her quinceañera. I'm a sucker for puns, okay? And I just can't help it. I love that. So Apple Bloom is super nervous about going to this quinceañera, and she goes off trying to get some help. I've got to find my cutie mark by the end of the day, because otherwise I'm going to be the only person at this party that doesn't have their cutie mark. She talks to Applejack, and Applejack's like, me, Big Macintosh, and Granny Smith were all the last in our class to get our cutie marks too. Maybe it runs in the family. So that's not exactly a comfort to her.
There'll be 4 bits.
I didn't put those in my bag.
Likely story. 4 bits, lady.
Right after a commercial break, Rainbow Dash finds Apple Bloom moping, and she gives this little joke.
Looks like some pony's got a dark cloud hanging over her head.
Let me do something about that.
So Rainbow Dash tries to help her get her cutie mark by trying a bunch of different things, and Apple Bloom is pretty terrible at all of them. Then Pinkie Pie helps her out by seeing if she can bake. Maybe her special talent is baking, which leads to Pinkie singing this song called Cupcakes, which probably was the origin for a creepypasta, which became like the first grimdark, or one of the first grimdark fan fictions in My Little Pony history. I won't get into that. There's tons of videos about that, but basically it's one of those fics where a character is actually a psycho and they end up killing their friends and that sort of thing. It's kind of iconic in the pony fandom. It's really poorly written. I mean, it kind of sucks, but it was very important at the time for kind of breaking that barrier into making a really adult content pony fic. So again, it's terribly poorly written, but it still holds kind of a special place in the fandom for that reason. Also, there's a little bit where Twilight tries to give Apple Bloom a cutie mark by magic, and this is when we learn that cutie mark magic works differently than regular unicorn magic. Now, this is important because later on in seasons 5 and 6, we will see a pony who successfully can, in fact, mess with cutie mark magic and actually can do things like remove or give a cutie mark. We would never have built up to that point to where the magic of these specific marks would become so indelibly imprinted into our pony fandom brains that by the time they start expounding on it, it really does feel like some real open frontier that needed exploring, and they give us some pretty satisfying answers and a lot of new questions. But this episode, man, this is a hard one for me. I'm getting distracted on everything. It's funny, this episode actually seems to be kind of connected to a lot of other things, and until I sat down literally right now to talk about it, I never really thought about it before, but this episode kind of is super important. So anyway, Apple Bloom walks out of the kitchen and into Sugar Cube Corner, and oh no, the quinceañera is there in full swing. Convenient, sometimes you just forget that a party is going on, the very party you were dreading. So she's there, she tries to hide her cutie mark, and embarrasses herself terribly, and everybody's laughing at her. Diamond Tiara is making fun of her. There's this weird little moment where several of the kids start chanting like they're in a cult, just going blank, 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 blank. It's like 2 seconds, but it's wildly scary. That's when we meet Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle. I love these guys. They are so cute. And they stand up to Diamond Tiara to defend Apple Bloom. So right off the bat, from this first meeting of Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle, the first time we meet them, we already like them. We already see that these are two people with some integrity. They'll stand up to the bully. They'll defend their friend, even though she's not really their friend yet. And they show that they are also blank flanks. They do not have their cutie marks. And the three of them become fast friends. Even trying to come up... There's a funny little scene where they're trying to come up with a name for their friend group, which they eventually settle on the Cutie Mark Crusaders. And thus a legend of ponydom was born. And this is quite a cute little episode. And again, it seems like wildly important the more I think about it. Like, there was a ton of stuff that actually this episode kind of established and worked into. So, the moral of this episode. Sometimes the thing that you think is going to keep you from making friends can be your greatest asset in making them. And sometimes it's the very thing that makes you special. So in this last 30 seconds or so, it really turns around and says, actually, not only do they not need this mark to be special, but the very fact that they don't have it yet, that they have all this potential and life ahead of them, that actually is something that makes them special. That's a really neat lesson for kids. And it closes on a shot of Princess Celestia reading Twilight's letter to her, and Celestia looking down at her own cutie mark. And that also raises some good questions, like Celestia's special talent is raising the sun. crazy. Like, and what does that say about the magic of this system? And of course, more questions about the lore. Who was raising and lowering the sun and moon before Celestia? Which we'll get into in the Christmas episode. So that's all I have for today. Again, I really like this episode. I said before, the season 1 takes a while to get off the ground and really become great, but we're about to hit that stride, and you can feel it building as the quality of the episodes get better and better and better. And this is definitely one of those better episodes. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Did I just say that? I'm gonna kill myself. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm gonna leave it in the video. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.